Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Community Command, Community Civics 101. This is day 5 for us and learning about what goes on in our and some of the things that we as citizens have the right to do. And that's what today's lesson is about. It's about our rights as citizens and who we are as voters, and getting everyone to understand that as a voter, you are in position of administration. You are the boss. You are the ones who make sure that our representatives are paid, that they have somewhere to practice those skills from, our different houses that they are in when they're doing their business, and that we are the ones who work to give them guidelines for the things that we want to do within our voting system. We do have that right to do that. So today's lesson, Know Your Rights. Up until now, we've been learning about who makes decisions, how they come to those decisions, and where our money goes. So we want to make sure that we understand our responsibilities and our rights in this forum so that we understand exactly how critical it is that we understand the process of our rights, because most things that we go through, and I always shift it right back to our home and our foundation, everything has a process. And as a citizens, we need to know what those processes are, because it's very important that we understand that we follow these processes, because what the only right that we have is not just the right to vote. Okay, that is fundamental at this point, because everyone knows that we have the right to vote, but there's other rights that we have, and one that is very important is to be present in the process of voting, and to have the right, not have someone give us, but to have the right to ask questions. That is our right as a voter, as being the boss over this process. And then after everything is done and votes are counts are calculated, we have the right to ask for that information. That is our right as a citizen and a voter when it comes to our election process. So we got to be very, very mindful that we are in this process. I always hear a lot of people say that I'm not into politics. Be mindful. Politics is in you. So it doesn't matter whether you participate or don't participate, you are still a part of that process, because it, once again, is a process. It is a system that we use in our democratic way of life to keep our democracy, our system of voting in place. So you want to be a part of that. You want to be present with that. You want to ask questions, and you want to be able to get information. The information process is called a FOIA. It's a process as well. It's a Freedom of Information Act, where you request information from any particular organization and agency, I should say, so that you can look through that information just like you would look through your kids' school report and find out A, B, C, D, F, and figure out, okay, why does this look this way? Oh, that looks good. But what's this over here? When you can see it, you can do something about it. And we had talked yesterday about expecting things that you haven't even inspected. So, what do you expect to come out of that? That's going to be beneficial to you if you haven't even inspected it. So, we do have those rights. We have the right to vote. We have the right to make sure that we are present. We have the right to make sure that we can ask questions and nobody can tell you or shut you down just because you're asking questions about something that you need clarity on. Just because somebody else is clear doesn't mean that you're clear. So we want to make sure that you know that you have the right to ask questions and you have the right for getting information to help you clarify that question. Do not take somebody else's word for it. Take their word and also back it up with written information. In our society, when it comes to making sure that you are addressing an issue, you want to make sure that there is a paper trail, something that everyone can follow. When they look into it and you say something, they should be able to find a paper trail that stays from the beginning of what they said to the end user of what they said had happened. So always be mindful of that. You have that right as a citizen. And most people don't engage, and it is not because they don't care. It's because they don't understand the process. So where do I fit in here? How do I assess this? And who do I go to assess these things? And we have to realize that we have to be a part of it. That's that present part. We have to either physically be at meetings or have a framework where someone in your sphere is going to that public meeting, getting that information and bringing it back, digesting it with the group so that they understand everything that happened there. And once again, there is a paper trail that you, for clarity, can go back, get the video of that meeting, and ask for information about that meeting if you need more clarity, but you at least got that framework together to where you are actually getting information so that you can show up and be present. You're allowed to speak during public comments. There's usually a process where you have to call the clerk for that particular venue and ask to be on the agenda to speak, and or you can sign up at the meetings when you go there, so you can sign up to speak. But that's your right. You have that very right, and you are allowed to request work records and information. Those are the three things that you have to remember: being present, being able to speak and ask questions, and then to request information. Okay, these are not special privileges, these are rights as a citizens. And when you understand that, something shifts when you understand that. So at that point, you stop feeling like decisions are happening to you. I'm going to say that once again. You stop feeling like things are happening to you because now you're involved in the process. So now you gained some insight and power to say, at least I had some input in this. I fought for this. And now you know that there is a process that you can go through to make sure that you are a part of this. So today, here's your focus. Learn one right that you have. We're going to start with that. Out of those three, take one of those rights and use it. Be present, ask questions, request information for your clarity. Let's make that commitment today to use at least one. Next month, we'll do two. And the third month, we'll do three. Just to get it started. And once again, to make that shift from where we were, not engaging, not using, not asking questions, not knowing how to request information, but using it. Because the first thing is that awareness without action changes nothing. Absolutely. You can be aware, but if you make no actions, absolutely nothing changes. So, this is all about shifting, changing, doing things that we usually wouldn't do because we didn't know how. We couldn't fit it into our 9 to 9 and our 9 to 5 schedule. But now we're learning, and of course, we're going to go even deeper to learn how to schedule and make this 1 and 2 hour time shift in our month for us to be able to engage. So, tomorrow, we're going to move into accountability. Everybody wants to know, how do we hold individuals who are representing us, and I'm going to say that word again, representing us, how do we hold them accountable for what they do? And once again, I'm going to use that word, process. It is a process. It is a process that you need to be made aware of, so you don't be getting frustrated about why this hasn't happened, why that hasn't happened, why is this taking so long? Because there are processes that we have to go through, and you will learn those processes, and once again be able to engage in those processes so that you can know that things aren't happening to you. Things are being done by you because you are engaging. So I want you to know and understand that you have rights. And I want you to use one of those rights at least this month. And then we'll move on to the following months of engagement. Once again, this is Community Command, Community Civics 101. And I will see you tomorrow.